Hello everybody, this is Dan Murphy from Blue Gold Illustrated. With me is our senior editor Lou Samoji and staff writer Andrew Owens. We're down here at Culver Military Academy in Culver, Indiana for the first day of Notre Dame's football practices. Notre Dame just finished up with a 2-hour session, had a quick chance to talk to Coach Kelly afterwards, but our first real look at the 2014 football team. Let's start, Lou, who stood out to you? What stood out the first look you had?
First really was the offensive line configuration. I was going to be very curious about that, and indeed Steve Elmer started off at the right tackle position. He had been playing left guard all through the spring, and then at right guard you had Christian Lombard, Nick Martin at center, and then Matt Haggard started at the left guard position. Brian Kelly had mentioned how outstanding he had been through the summer, and they're giving him a look there. He might be the backup center as well, but right now, 5 best players, it looks like Hegarty might have that role there. And then, of course, Ronnie Stanley was at left tackle, had to be taken off the field to get an IV. He's good to go tomorrow, but sometimes that initial fatigue factors in. But so many other changes, too. Mike McGlinchey moved from right tackle to left tackle, so he was with the ones when Stanley was out. Colin McGovern did indeed move inside to guard. He had played right tackle all spring. Hunter Biven, who had been lining up at tackle, maybe guard, he was working at center as well. So a lot of mixing and matching there, and you had a full 15 guys on scholarship on the offensive line, which I don't know, maybe it was back in the 1970s when I last saw that.
Any freshmen in particular pop out to you in that group?
Well, you had Quentin Nelson, that's another configuration. We had him maybe pegged as a guard, but he was working as the number 2 right tackle behind Steve Elmer. Certainly, I can think of 2 other linemen where you just say, wow, he's physically ready to play. One was Mike Rosenthal way back in 1995 when they first started here. You guys are too young there. But Sam Young also in 2006 where he had that body and physique. Sam Mustapher, I think, on the offensive line, certainly had a stout build. He was lining up at right guard behind Christian Lombard and John Montelis. But conditioning-wise, they all looked like, especially the offensive linemen, svelte because the up-tempo that I think they want to emphasize this year is going to be essential for the offensive linemen to be able to move with the rest of the offense.
Well, obviously a lot of eyes on the quarterbacks too today. Everett Golson and Malik Zaire in what Kelly called not an artificial competition. It looked like Everett won the first day today from Milo. What did you see, Andrew?
Certainly, the offense just has a different look whenever it's on the field compared to Malik right now. I do think Malik can handle the tempo rather well, but just in the play-to-play consistency, I think Everett definitely has him, at least at this point, beat. And then in the post-game or the post-practice interview, Brian Kelly mentioned how he sees Everett getting more fearless compared to being fearful his first year, maybe. And Everett used the same word, fearless, when we got to talk to him after. So I think he's starting to feel more comfortable in the offense, whereas at the beginning of spring practice, he might have had some jitters. He was getting reacquainted with everything, and it's a very different offense from what they ran 2 years ago.
There was the first time I think I saw where he seemed comfortable in his progressions at times. There were a couple where he was really comfortable in just zipping out there after scanning the field. Now, it's one day and everything. Game situations are different, but that's where the experience factor I think is on.
I had my eyes on the defense for the most of the day. Joe Schmidt was with the first team as we expected, a Mike linebacker for the full day. Not too many surprises otherwise on the defense. I thought the one guy that really popped out to me the most was Cody Riggs, the 5th-year transfer from Florida, both playing cornerback, he played some nickel. He was also probably the best looking punt returner they had when they ran that group out there for a few minutes. He just looks fluid, looks strong. Talked to Kavari Russell a little bit about him today afterwards and said Cody's really pushed him throughout the summer. So he'll be fun to watch and see how we might change that. Cole Luke was still with the first team group and had a couple nice plays himself. So that cornerback competition is going to be a lot of fun to watch. As far as freshmen defensively, I think the one thing that stood out is Daniel Cage and Pete Mock were both definitely big guys, but what kind of weight that is still is kind of yet to be seen. They look like they might have a few extra pounds to shed before they get into game shape, despite what Kelly said on Friday. But that's going to wrap things up from here from Culver for us. We'll be back. We'll get another chance to look at practice on Saturday, and we'll be reporting then.